binders, and how do you practically use these budget binders in your day to manage your cash spending for variable expenses. These are things that you know you have to spend money on, but the amount changes from month to month. For example, you know you have to buy food, but the amount you spend on food will change from one month to another. Hi, I'm Gabriela, and this is the Personal Finance and Coffee Podcast. And on this channel, we talk about money and how do we manage the money that we are working so hard for. It's one thing to make the money, and it's another to manage it in a way that you don't feel like I've been working for 5-10 years, but I've not done much with my money, and I still feel anxious. How do we break that pattern? That's what we talk about on this channel. If this is something you find interesting, please like, please subscribe, so that you don't miss upcoming episodes. Today we're looking at budget binders and how do you practically use these budget binders in your day-to-day life. So what are budget binders? They're kind of like wallets where you separate your money in kind of like envelopes. I'm going to have it on the screen, and different people use them in different ways. You can use the budget binders to manage your cash spending for variable expenses. These are things that you know you have to spend money on, but the amount changes from month to month. For example, you know you have to buy food, but the amount you spend on food will change from one month to another. For example, in 1 month you can have basic meals, you can have rice and beans, I'm just giving examples. And then another month you can have more guests, and then you can have like more meats. That will also change the budget, but it's all food. So these are variable amounts. Things like transport, depending on where you go. This is what you can manage in the budget binders. That's one of the uses. Another way you can use the budget binders is to save up for short-term expenses or short-term goals. Not the big goals. You won't save up for land in your budget binder. Okay, you could, but you know what I mean. So you can have short-term spending. For example, if you want to have like a buffer of cash for medical expenses in case you find yourself getting emergencies and you're like, I need to borrow money to take my child to the hospital. But then you find that in your monthly expenses, in your monthly budget, you don't have a lump sum you can put aside. So you use the budget binder to set aside 20K, 30K, 50K, 100K, as and when you get the money, for it to slowly accumulate. So you can do this for different goals that you have, depending on what your challenge is and what you want to save for. It could be birthdays, it could be large purchases. That's another way that you can use it for saving. And there's so many other ways, because on this on YouTube there's so many videos about budget binders, and one of the challenges that I find with the videos that I've found, one, the people that are making these videos are not in our country, Uganda, and therefore they are cash stuffing so much more money. Like, I would look at what people are stuffing in their envelopes, and it's not realistic for me in my country and in my season of life. I was blinded to that. I don't have to do what they're doing, but I can pick the concept. That's one of the challenges that I faced. And another challenge that I faced when I was watching the budget binders is that their systems are so complex because they've been doing it for so long. So they have so many binders and so many things they're saving for and savings challenges. So for me to start has been a struggle. And now I still watch their videos, I still watch their content, but I'm watching it from the perspective of, amidst your complex challenge, can I pick one thing that is a general principle that I can try? That is how, those are the challenges I faced, and that's how I'm mitigating them. When you're looking at using them on a day-to-day basis, you need to understand what problem they solve. Because if they don't have a purpose, then why would you take your time to do it? Because it does take time. So one of the problems, for me it solved 3 problems when I started using these budget binders. My first problem was that I would find myself overspending in these variable categories. And then it would be in the middle of the month and I don't have money for food, I don't have money for transport, because I overspent in the previous weeks. And the reason why I would overspend is when I have my card, it's easy to swipe. You know, you go to the supermarket, you swipe. You go to a restaurant, you swipe. So somehow the month would end and I just don't have enough money, because I could not clearly see what is for food, what is for transport, what is for... So everything was just on the account. And then I would feel like I'm loaded, so I just swipe. So that is one of the things that, one of the problems that it solved for me. separating the money helps me see that, okay, Gabi, this is what you have for groceries, this is what you have for transport, this is what you have for. It creates sections. And now I'm no longer anxious about, will I have enough money until the end of the month? Because I have them in the separate envelopes, I now know that if I have followed and picked my allowance, if I've given myself weekly pocket money, if I've followed my system and I've given myself weekly pocket money, then, and I've not overspent, then I know that the money that is there is going to take me till my next salary. So that is one of the things that it helped me with, the overspending. Another thing that it helped me with is the decision-making process. When I'd be making decisions, I would not know that, okay, it's Thursday. Have I overspent based on how much I'm supposed to spend on a week on groceries, or do I still have money to spend, or how much money do I have to spend? Having that clarity around the boundaries of the budget for me to fit within it. And why it's important for me to fit within the boundaries I set is because at the time of me setting those boundaries, I set them so that I'm able to attain a bigger goal. So if I say, whenever I say, because I've had those seasons when I'm like, but these things, I set the rules, I'm a grown up, and I break those boundaries. I find that the month is coming to an end and I don't have money, so I have to borrow. It could be a mobile loan, it could be a mobile money loan from my phone, or from a friend, or pulling from my savings, and yet the savings are supposed to do something. Or when I borrow money, the next salary, when I receive it, the first thing I'm doing is paying loans. So it means that now I don't have enough money for this new month. So it creates that cycle. That is why it's important for me to set those boundaries and, to the best of my abilities, work within them. It also makes it, because these budget binders help me in my day-to-day decision-making process. When I'm invited to an event, I'm able to say I'm not able to attend, because now I can clearly see that the section I put for money of social events, it's now 15th of April, it's 15th of May, it's 15th of June, and the money is done. So I can't go for that event, and I'll say, maybe we can plan it for the next month. So I'm able to confidently say no, because it's not within my budget. Sometimes being a people pleaser makes it hard to say no, because, it's uncomfortable. So for me, that's another way that it has helped me. Now, the third way that it has helped me, this budget binder system, is that there are expenses that come up, and they are not every monthly expenses. For example, birthdays. It may not even be like a full-blown party, but you just need to buy cake and soda for the child and snacks to take to school, for example. Now, based on the budget, it may seem like it's Gabila's pocket change, but because when I make my budget, everything is allocated for. And I do not want to find myself that, oh, now there's a birthday I'm surprised. Next month is my child's birthday. You know what I mean? And now I'm sketching for where I can pull money from. These budget binders, when I have a section for birthdays, and I slowly put aside money every month, it means that I don't get in shock that, oh, it's my child's birthday is next month. It's just that, oh, so where am I buying the cake? What cake am I buying? What snacks? It's not a question of where the money is coming from. So those basic things, or for example, clothes. Personally, I don't enjoy shopping. Let's get it out there. But it is a necessary thing to do. You need shoes, you need a handbag. And so that's something else that I personally do. So I set aside money for the clothes and the items in those budget binders. Anyway, for me, those are the problems that this system has solved for me. So next, I wanted to talk about how do you practically start. If you feel like, okay, Gabi, fine, everything you've said is important and it makes sense, how do you now actually start to use the binders for you? When I started with this budget binder, I didn't straight up go and buy a binder. No. I first made envelopes. Like, I would get my papers and glue and staples and handwrite, as old-fashioned as that is. I think I've made a video about that. I'll have a card. And I first wanted to see, will this work for me? I'd watched all the videos and I wanted to experiment. I tried it and it worked. So I went on Jumia. I got my binders from Jumia. So I placed an order on Jumia and I got my binders. So that is how I started. I first experimented with papers to see if it works. Now, when I was starting, I had my why. And I've listed my why in the problems that I wanted it to solve. The variable spending, the saving, all those things. So you need to decide on why you want to try this system. They don't have to be very many. Just what is stressing you. Just think about that thing that stresses you about your money. And think about how you want these budget binders to solve that problem for you. Because if you don't have your why, it's easy to drop the process and not stick to it. After you've chosen your why, the next thing is to pick the categories you want to start with. You may not be able to start with every category that other people are doing, maybe overwhelming. Pick 3 or 4, pick a few categories that you want to try with. If you feel like my struggle is my social activities, my personal spending, food at home, start with those. Don't start with everything. Pick the ones you're going to start with, and then the third step, once you've picked them, is look at what is the amount you want to spend throughout the month, and then divide it by weeks, and then you put in those envelopes. Now, every week, this is the next step. Give yourself pocket money. Give yourself pocket money. You're the grown-up and you're also the child. So give yourself pocket money and say, this week, this is what we are working with. If something comes and it's not within, say, next time or next week. So it helps you keep on track. The final tip, just keep trying. Check out videos. I'll have a list of some of the videos I like for the budget binders. Like YouTube channels that I watch that have budget binder systems. I'll have links to their channels below. And just keep learning. Just keep trying different things. It may not work, it may work. The whole point is to experiment. Over and above, this system works hand in hand with your monthly budget. It goes hand in hand. So you can try different versions and see how that will work for you. I have an episode where I talked about setting up your sinking funds. It's episode 40. I'll have it linked right here, so that if you're curious about sinking funds and how they work, you can watch it. I have my budget template. If you're looking for a budget template where you can make your budget, I'll have a link in the description so that you can check it out and support me that way. Yeah. If you've liked this episode, please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.